Good morning, everybody. I'm Paul Cohen, Town Manager here in the town of Chelmsford, and on behalf of the Board of Select Board, welcome to the town of Chelmsford, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules today to attend this MassWorks grant ceremony. We've got great people in attendance. Secretary Kennealy's here. You'll hear from him shortly. We've got Representative Tom Golden. We have Vice Chair Select Board Ken LaFave, Select Board Member Pat Wojcik, members of the North Chelmsford Water District, our project developer Winland Liu, Katie Enright from Howard Stein Hudson, Evan Belansky, our Community Development Director, Lisa Maroney, our Director of Business Development. So again, thank you for coming and taking time out of your schedule, and I don't want to forget Mike Raisbeck from the Planning Board, who helped approve this project. And that's really what we're here about this morning, is it's about a grant from the Commonwealth that really is going to provide needed housing in our community and in the region. And we have a 12 duplex unit development up off Groton Road that has been permitted and approved by the Planning Board. And the issue and the need for the grant goes down to infrastructure. As we're obviously aware at this time of the year and what's been going on in Washington at the State House, infrastructure is a critical need to support the much needed housing across the Commonwealth. And here's a partnership between the town, the district, the developer, to bring a project to fruition. Because in this instance, the water main from the North Chelmsford Water District is not adequate to serve the site to provide the much needed water supply. And so I want to recognize the Select Board who took the action to initiate the project at the behest of the developer to assist with the project to submit a MassWorks grant application, and really credit goes to Evan Belansky, our Community Development Director, who assembled the grant application, working with Katie Enright from Howard Stein Hudson, members of the town's DPW and others, to pull an application successful together. And fortunately, it was recognized in a competitive market by the Commonwealth for grant funding. So with that, what I'll do is I'll turn the podium over to Secretary Kennealy, and then we'll hear from other speakers this morning. So welcome, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you, Paul. It's so great to be here with my colleagues in state and local government, the representative, Paul, your team here. Look, we're on a bit of a tour now across the state announcing MassWorks grants and other economic development grants. It's that time of year. It's sort of the fun season for us. Well, every season's fun for us, but this is a particularly nice time of year to get back out into our communities. Over the summer, I did a 25 downtown small business tour across the state. We just wrapped up a 6-day, 12 community affordable housing tour across Massachusetts. So great to be back on the road and seeing what's happening in our communities. Let me say a couple words about our MassWorks infrastructure program. It's the largest and most flexible, and therefore probably the most important tool in our economic development toolbox. And we're making 56 grants this year. $66 million. This is important stuff. And I always say that, MassWorks funds infrastructure, right? Roads and sewers and streetscapes and lighting and things like that. What it really funds at the end of the day is collaboration at the community level, because it lets a city or town come to us and say, like, here's a project that's important for us. And it's inevitably something that a lot of people worked on. It's hard to get things done. It's a collaborative process, a long process. And I always like coming to these events and hearing the stories behind the projects, because they do require intense collaboration at the local level. But it lets the community come forward and say, this project's an important one for us. It's going to help move our agenda forward and could be funded. And, housing, man, we need a lot more housing across Massachusetts. I've been saying, the governor has as well, the lieutenant governor, for a long time. We're in the middle of a housing crisis. We've been using that term housing crisis for a really long time, long before we ever heard of COVID-19. And I always say we don't use the word crisis lightly, but we do use it often. We simply have to produce a lot more housing. And so when we see MassWorks projects like this one that could help us produce a lot more housing, we get particularly excited about those. And over the course of the Baker-Polito administration, we've made now over $600 million in MassWorks grants that have gone to help support 4,000 new housing units. So we're particularly proud of that. This year, MassWorks is part of something we call the One Stop for Growth. And I think it's an important part about how we deliver our programs today. We got a lot of feedback early in the administration that, we have a lot of different programs. And as we dug into what all these programs do, we realized they're all on their own application cycles. They all have different dates and application questions associated with them. And what happens is it puts the communities in a position where they're chasing individual grants versus coming to us and saying, here's a project that's important for us. Can we help develop a strategy for that project? And so what we did was we took MassWorks and 9 other programs and combined them into this one stop. And the idea was to make it more streamlined, make sure our programs are really aligned against a common vision, and make sure we've got more collaboration built into the process. And so the very start of this process is not a request for funding. It's what's called an expression of interest, where a community comes in and says, look, here's a handful of projects we think are important, and it lets us provide some advice, frankly, and some guidance, to say it's the right project at the right time, it's the right project, but it's too early. Here's some other programs to think about. And after that, there's an application for funding. And we got about 675 projects that came into this expression of interest phase. And I think I'm curious to get Paul's view. I think it's just a fundamentally different and better way to deliver the programs we have in a more streamlined, aligned, and collaborative manner. So we're very excited about the One Stop, and we're funding now 196 projects to 122 communities through the One Stop approach. So this is an important one. I really applaud any community that's trying to take the steps to develop more housing. We simply have to get a lot more housing done, and very pleased to make this award to help you unlock this needed housing production. And so, am I doing the award now? Is that what we're doing? Yeah? Let's do it. All right. So I'm pleased to make a MassWorks award to the town of Chelmsford for $680,000 for Groton Road water main upgrade. Why don't you come up and we'll do this. We'll do pictures afterwards? Sure. Okay, cool. All right, good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, it's all about partnerships, as the Secretary mentioned. And I'm pleased to announce, and again, the partnership, again, goes between the administration and the legislature. And we're fortunate to have a member of the legislative leadership team with us this morning on a very busy day. And I was surprised to see him because it is the last day of session. But I appreciate, Tom, you taking time out of your schedule. Representative Tom Golden, who welcome, Tom.
Thank you very much, Paul. I'm going to cut it down to 20 minutes like you asked me to, so I appreciate that. Everyone's settled right in. But, Paul, to you and your team, I can never say enough. Phone calls are always coming in. Evan, thank you so much. But to the select board members that are here, Pat, thank you very much for always keeping me up to date. And Kenny, I can't say, I think you owe me lunch now because of all the times we continue to go and talk about issues like this, making sure that housing is available to the developers that are making this really happen. To what the Secretary was saying, this is so vitally important, not just here in the town of Chelmsford, but throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And with all the discussions that have been going on, and Kenny knows them well, and Pat knows them well, and Paul knows them well with the team approach, that's always the best thing. But what really happens at the end of the day is that the legislature funds this in hopes that it's going to work. And quite frankly, the Secretary and his team, I've been doing this for quite some time. People know that. I've been elected to this office for quite some time. I don't believe there's been a better secretary, and I know Jay Ash, who's a mutual friend of ours, is not going to be happy about that, but I don't believe there's been a better secretary that has the ability to get out into the community to make sure things are changing. And when things are changing, they're changing in the right direction. They're changing in a positive direction. They're changing for what communities actually want to get done. The call has been made by the governor, by the administration, even the legislature, saying that we do need more housing. This needs to happen. And this type of stuff, we can do everything here on the state level from the legislature to the town. It cannot happen at the end of the day unless the secretary gives us its blessing, because it is a hard process, and he has to say no an awful lot. But, Mr. Secretary, I'm just here to say thank you on behalf of the legislature, on behalf of the town. Thank you very much for looking at these programs, looking at these proposals, and quite frankly, every time I call, picking up the phone and giving us a, let's try to get to yes. The secretary doesn't always say yes, because he can't. It's just, he's got limited funds. But he's always saying, let's try to get to yes. And I think that's important for the town of Chelmsford, for everything that's happening here. So, Mr. Secretary, on behalf of the entire delegation, thank you. Love seeing you, especially when you have a check with you. So, have a great day, guys.
Thank you, Representative Golden. Next, we'll hear from, as I mentioned earlier, the Select Board Vice Chair Ken Lefebvre. As I stated, this all came about through the leadership of the Select Board, who really directed myself and Evan Blansky, our development director, to marshal all of our resources, see if we could assist this project in becoming a reality, given the challenges they were facing. So with that, Vice Chair Ken Lefebvre.
Thank you. I can't really add much more to what everybody's saying today, other than to say thank you to Secretary Kennealy for coming out and in person and doing this. Great to see you, and thank you, Tommy. Thanks for showing up. Again, you're straight out. I get it, and you took the time to be here today. Paul, thanks for being a great host. Thanks for getting this done. Thanks for instructing Evan to get the grant in, and hopefully we get the benefit with these additional 22 homes. So just thank you to everyone that took part in this, and job well done.
Next, we'll hear from one of our other municipal government partners, the North Chelmsford Water District. Chelmsford's sort of rather unique in our region that we have 3 water districts serving our community in different phases. And in this case, the North Chelmsford Water District, will sort of administer this project because, as I noted, they're serving the water main in that area. So with that, I don't know, Bruce, or if you want to come up and speak on behalf of the district, who again is partnered with the town on this project. Bruce Harper.
Yeah, Bruce Harper from the North Chelmsford Water District. I guess I echo Ken's sentiment. Everything's been said. I just want to thank the Secretary, Tom Golden, Paul Cohen, working with Wendland and Neza has been an excellent partnership, and I just want to get this thing going forward.
And then finally, and really the most critical part, because these projects don't happen without the private investment and initiative and risk taken by a developer to bring a project, to fruition through permitting and through all the efforts to get here to this point. So with this, Wen-Lan Liu, I welcome you to come up and say some remarks to our.
I'm going to read from my note. Good morning. My name is Wen-Lan Liu, and I represent NorthStar Realty, LLC. First, I want to praise to the Lord to bring us here. Our company founded in 2015. We were trying to develop a big project in this Route 3 corridor. It consisted commercial and multi-family buildings, but without support from our neighbor, we failed twice in a town meeting due to the internal mismanagement of our company, and our company went to the edge of bankruptcy. Several properties we own in this area went foreclosure, and my sister and myself basically bought the company back and brought the company back, and also with high debt. After the help of the special committee from the neighborhood, we finally know what people want. And we started designing the 12 duplexes in this area, which consisted like 24 units instead. So later on, our dilemma was water pipe on the Groton Road. It has to be upgraded in order to support this new subdivision. With the help of town manager Paul Cohen, Chelmsford Select Board, Community Development Director Evan Blansky, and the North Chelmsford Water District Superintendent Bruce Harper, and our engineer from Howard Stein Hudson, Katie Enright, and our attorney Melissa Robbins. Application for grant submitted to MassWorks by the deadline. With God mercy, MassWorks from the state granted the full funding to the North Chelmsford Water District. This really saved us. I want to thank everybody involved in this process. Without your help, we cannot succeed. And also, I believe North Chelmsford Water District team will find the best team to upgrade this 1,700 feet water line. And on this chart here, you can see this will be the new look of it's called the NorthStar Village community. And Avatar construction team will make this village one of the most beautiful villages in town. So please bring your friends, family members to check it out. And with this upgrade on this road, so many other projects like in the industry area can happen in the near future. So really thank you all to make this happen. And especially thank you for our secretary and Tom. And we give all our appreciation to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Winland, again, for the vision. And again, I think as you see there, these are going to be homes that are going to provide, places for families and children and so forth. It's really going to enhance our community, and we're really looking forward to the finished product in the months and years ahead. So with that, I'd invite everybody who's here to come up, and we'll do a photo with the secretary to complete our efforts this afternoon or this morning. So thank you, everybody, for your attendance, and again, we welcome appreciate everybody's efforts and welcome the reality that's going to become on this site. Thank you so much.